That's exciting.
Hi.
Hey, I think we're live.
Yay!
Awesome. Oh, and there's the chat. Hello. I think we're live. Right? Sophia's going to check on her phone, but I think we are. I think it's happening. I think there's a counter going. That's exciting. Yay. So, well, I don't know. It says we're live here. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
So if you're here, do you want to
There
put?
we go.
Oh, yay! Good. You can put something in the chat. Sophie can put something in the chat and say hi. You want to do it on your phone? You can do it from here. If you do it from here, it'll save from Create Door. Know what I'm saying? But you'll have to get the thing. Hello, ladies. Hello. Yay. Welcome. Welcome to our first live stream. Hopefully, we'll be doing this once a month, providing this all goes smoothly enough today. But thanks for joining me. And Sophia, I'm so happy to have Sophie here.
Hi.
Yay. So if you want to say hi in the chat, you should be able to type in something there. That didn't work. Oh, good. Sophie's going to monitor the chat for us today while we're doing this. And yeah, yay.
Hi.
Hello. Yay. So awesome. Yeah, definitely say hi in the chat. We're excited to try this. Thank you so much for tuning in. I was telling Soph, I have like 100 subscribers on YouTube. So if we get 10 people today, it's, amazing. So I'm going to get started actually with the project here as people start hopefully rolling in. But if you say hi in the chat, that'd be lovely. So we can say hi to everyone.
Yay.
Hello. Okay, awesome. So for the actual project, so that you can see it close up, we're using our webcam instead of the phone, so that we have a bigger screen. But still, it's a small project, so I want you to be able to see it close up. So I'm actually going to put a little tray on the table that will lift the project closer to the camera.
Hi, Victoria.
And you'll still see Sophia. But you won't see me. You'll just hear me. So I'm going to scoot that stuff out of the way. And definitely ask any questions, while we're doing this. Whoops. Here's my little table I'm going to set up.
Hi, Victoria. Hi, Marcia.
Yay!
Yay.
That's so exciting. Awesome. I'm going to tip the camera just a little more. So you'll just get a shot of my necklace and my lovely daughter. And we're in business. Okay, fantastic. Okay, girl. Today we are going through our Hidden Gems bracelet. Hopefully you got the handout in your email box I sent last night that has the step-by-step instructions on here. We've also done this bracelet before. We've had it as a kit several times, every time we have a new precious palette. So it's a very fun bracelet to do with these palettes. This little one, this sample I have here, is just the holiday palette from this last Christmas.
Hi, Kat. Yay.
Right, our other precious palettes. That one, this is the Dancing Gems bracelet I did with the Southwest Shimmer, Southwest something palette. And this is a little wrap bracelet I did with Pretty in Paradise palette. So these small precious palettes I think are really fun. They're a mix of gemstones, freshwater pearls, and crystals, all generally under 6 millimeters. Again, which has nothing to do with the quality, right? Just the smaller beads, I think, give you more beads in 25 grams, but it also gives you a lot of options for the project you're making. So we are starting with your palette or your mix of beads. It just needs to be, any mix. There's my little mix of what I'm using today. But generally under 6 millimeters, selection of gemstones, freshwater pearls, and tiny crystals. You're really going to need a lot of the 2 or 3 millimeter crystals, at least to have access to them. And one thing you want to do is select the color of silk. And I know I'm just kind of tipping this. The silk is going to be like a spacer bead, right? It's going to be visible. And so the color is important. So I could easily do this lovely light blue. Could do that green would be actually really pretty. Could even do white because there's a lot of blue in there. I'm actually going to do this lilac color because there are kind of small accents of lilac that you can't see as well. So I think it's kind of nice to use that accent color. And you'll want to sort your beads so that the gemstones and freshwater pearls are pulled separately out so that you have access to them. The crystals, though, I'm going to dump them all into a other bucket so that I can
get caught up real quick. Hi, Debbie. Hi, baby. Marcia says, who puts the colors and beads for the palettes?
Who does what, Pixley?
Yeah, puts
I
the
do.
colors and the beads. That's Mama.
That's funny. What was the one we just did? We just, for Valentine's Day, we did Love Reigns, and which was really pretty. We sold out of that one. And then I'll probably do another one for spring. So you'll want to sort your gemstones and pearls separately from the crystals. That's all, so that you have access to them. You're going to take all your silk off the card, right? You're going to need the entire thing. And, right, there's no need to stretch it or wet it or iron it or anything. The little kinks that are in there will come out naturally as you are working with it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find, there we go.
Marcia says they're all beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice. You girls have plenty of beads, I'm sure, that you can, if you don't have one of the palettes, I'm sure that you have some things that will work for sure.
Hi, Deb.
But I've sold a lot of these pellets, and so I know that would work too. Okay, so I had my size 4 silk, and I love that color, and this is just an eye pin, right? My 2-inch eye pin. And again, if you, right, members got the little handout in your email box, you could print it. So sometimes those pictures are really, really close up, and so you can follow along there. What we're going to do today, it's a 3-strand bracelet, right? So let me grab the sample, or one sample. So just in the inch strung and just needs the finishing, and Sophia's going to do the finishing on that. So that way the whole thing should maybe, be an hour or so. We'll play it by ear. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is tie a knot. And I'm actually going to, if you've had pearl knotting, which I know all you girls have, the knot that goes in, right, is a double knot, right? So it's where the tail's twisted through, wrapped twice. This just gives you a fatter knot, so it's more to hang on to. Now, before we pull that really snug, I want to slip the eye of the eye pin in that loop. And you can interrupt me anytime, honey.
Okay.
So you can say hi to people. I'm glad my sister's here.
Yeah, he gets here.
Hi, yes, I'm sure baby will make an appearance here. I thought he was going to hang out with us, but Daddy's going to bring him soon. Okay, I'm trying to show this. So I'm just going to put the eye pin. I'm going to put the eye pin in here and make the knot tight around it. There we go. Okay, so all I did is I opened the eye pin, put it in the loop before I closed it, tightened it, and now I'm going to close the eye pin, the loop on the eye pin. So it's tied to it. That's all. I'm not going to worry about that tail for now. Short cut.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for coming.
Okay. So you have your palette. There is a pattern actually to this bracelet. It's basically you're alternating your freshwater pearl and your gemstone. It's so weird not seeing my face on here, but it's lovely seeing Sophia's. You're going to alternate the gemstone and a pearl with a crystal in between. And that's where you can break up the colors, the shapes, that kind of thing. So the very first beads, I'm going to string on 3 crystals. Aww.
Thanks, Melissa.
She's so cute. So I'm stringing on. And again, girls, this is obviously just our first live stream. I don't know, exactly what we're going to do in future. This just wanted to kind of come up with something that worked where you could see what I was doing. They make those overhead something like arms, like for cooking shows, so that could be something we could do in the future too. So we'll figure it out. But I appreciate you hanging out with us while we kind of figure it out. Okay, there's 3 small crystals on here, 2 or 3 millimeter. Don't want to use the 4 millimeter or anything larger than that. This is going to be where our first knot is going to be. I'm making an overhand knot over my non-dominant hand and putting that whole end with the eye pin through. Let me get that tail out of the way. Okay, so here's my knot, right? I always do my knot, I keep it large so that I can see that it's not twisted, right? Especially when the silk comes right off the card. It's very easy for it to get twisted up and for this to be twisted around. And so it's just easier, I think, and that's going to cause a gap. So tweezers goes through there and grabbing right on the end of the tweezer. So I'm trying to get it so you can see it.
Melissa says, this is so cool. I definitely watch future streams.
Yay.
Thanks. Yay.
And I'm going to pull this tight around the nose of. Now, this is only a little weird because I'm at the end where the eye pin is, but but I'm pulling right the very tip of that, snug around the tweezer. I'm going to pull it out of the knot, or pull it out of the tweezer and give it a little gentle push, and push the knot to the crystal.
Harriet says, me too. Hi, Harriet.
Hi, Harriet. Yay, we got to figure it out. Awesome. Technology. Crazy. Okay, girls. So I've got those first 3 crystals. Now I'm going to start alternating gemstones and crystals. And I kind of mentioned a little earlier, I'm going to do like 1 strand of this bracelet and show kind of the transition, and then just kind of explain the other 2 strands, and then have Sophie finish off. I have one that has all 3 strands strung so that you're not just watching me do this the whole time. Now, this bracelet is not knotted between each bead. It's knotted randomly, kind of sporadically, wherever you think the knot would be beneficial as far as color or breaking up the shapes or something like that. So sometimes you could do it on both sides of a bead. Sometimes you might string on 2 or 3 beads and then do a knot. And unlike other pearl knotting classes and things that we've done where with the pearls or other beads, I've had to string on all the beads first, right? And then pull one down at a time. This, you're going to knot as you go, right? Because of the design element, right? And so a lot of it is going to be stringing things on and then either changing your mind or, wanting to swap it out and try something else. So I've just strung on.
Project for your first video. I needed a refresher. And Pat said that her picture was fuzzy, but it's better now.
Good.
And Melissa says that's a cool trick using the tweezers for making the knot. I've always had issues trying to push knots to specific
spots on the
string. Smart.
Oh yeah, kidding? The tweezer is key for sure.
Makes a world of difference.
Yeah, and not just any tweezer, it has to be a knotting tweezer. Right, and this is actually a size 5.
They're really sharp on
It's very sharp. They're tapered. It's very important. They're just good quality, and even a good quality one's less than $5. But cheaper, yucky ones will be different. They'll taper differently on both sides or be sharp. So, yeah, and of course we can use them for tons of other uses. Eyebrows, splinters. Do you know how many splinters those tweezers took out of my 3 children?
I know.
And we had a wood deck, right? And so
yeah.
we get them in there all the time. Okay, I'm just trying to find a crystal. For gosh sakes. Okay, good enough.
Melissa says, thanks for the specifics. I need to get a pair of those.
Oh, I have a website I think you could buy them on. Okay. So I put the pearl and 1 crystal on, and now I'm doing a knot. You absolutely do not want a knot between each bead. You'll add way too much length. So as much as I understand that it can be a little confusing, or not confusing, maybe sometimes frustrating to not have very specific directions, all you girls have been doing this long enough to be able to design and make something, lovely. So I trust perfectly well that you'll be able to figure this out easily.
Melissa.
Well, we have other new things that we're going to show too, so you might want to hang out and see what other new things. Look at that cute new pendant. Look at that Tree of Life pendant. I can't really see it so well. I put a little pearl on it, but that's brand new.
Okay, I can see it on my dress.
It's so cute, cute, cute. Okay, so I did a gemstone. I'm going to do another crystal. This rondelle shape, and I better hurry up, or Stran's going to take me a long time. A rondelle shape or a...
Like length.
Well, you're just going to keep going with this pattern until we're about 6 inches. So again, the knots are just kind of randomly as you go, as you like them, where you think you should add either a little bit of that color, or you just want to break up the beads. So I'm going to string on crystal. And, you can always go back. If you start on a few things, you could go back to it and add another knot. So I've strung on a crystal there. I'm going to string on another pearl. I can't really see it. Let me get a little closer to the camera. Yeah, and Sophie, let me know if you think I should, because I'm not really watching.
Okay.
If I should move it, or girls, let us know in the chat too. I'm happy to show anything. This is real time. This is so awesome. I mean, kind of real time. There's a little bit of a lag, but it's very close. It's very exciting, I think. Okay. I like using bicones a lot too. They're a good shape. So I strung on a crystal, the pearl, another crystal, and now I'm going to do a knot. So at least every 2 to 3 beads, right? We wouldn't go longer than that without putting a knot. And again, that's on the handout I sent you. So don't worry about taking every kind of note right now. The handout has close-up, pictures of all this and says all the same thing. Okay, what is that? I'm going to run out of pearls. Let me grab enough. And it's a size 4 silk, if I didn't mention that. Oh, that was a pearl. Well, it's not like anyone's going to notice if I screw up the pattern. What stone is that? I think it's some chalcedony, maybe. Do a little chalcedony. Right, so again, juxtaposition, the purple will look nice next to the green. So I'll make a knot. There's literally not a lot of rhyme or reason. The knot is just an accent. However, I do think it adds a lot to it, and it helps the drape and stuff. So I wouldn't, just because we're not knotting between each bead, like I wouldn't string this on a beadalon or something. It wouldn't drape as nicely. 1,000 crystals here. Did you you should bug David when he's gonna come bring the baby. So I'm like, this would be good to have the baby by when I'm knotting. So I can keep entertaining.
He's gotta put up curtains.
Curtains?
Baby room needs curtains.
We're live. Oh, for gosh sakes. Okay. Let's see your crystal. Well, let me know when he can. Or,
I'll
see if
keep
he
an
can.
eye on when he shows up.
Okay. Left in a crystal. I'm doing another pearl. Okay, I'll try to be a little faster. Because I definitely at least want to get to the transition. Though I guess technically I could stop this and make it, shorter. 6 inches. It's a sample.
That's a good point.
But let's have it be a little bit longer than 3 inches. So let me keep going. So what you're stringing, when you're working with these palettes and string them on, I totally get how it could be like, but I don't know what to string on, especially when it's more random like this. Like we're not following a specific like pattern of very specific beads, color wise. Here for the gemstone. What was I just gonna say? Oh, that all I'm thinking about is the bead I just put on. What will go well with the bead I just put on? That's it. What should I put next to this piece of Amazonite? How's your right? It'll come to me. So that's all I'm thinking about. Or should I do a knot? And I'm going to go ahead and do a knot. Because this lilac will look lovely next to this turquoise color. And so I would probably do a transparent crystal next to it since it's more opaque. That will help both the different colors show up better, right? So I just put on a transparent crystal. And I'm going to do a pearl next to it. So that's going to automatically be opaque. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a knot. So don't stress out about, I don't know what order to string this in. And God forbid, don't try to lay them out ahead of time. Oof. That'll make you crazy. No, don't do that. Just grab one bead, string on the 3 crystals, string your next crystal, string on a pearl, put a crystal after it, string on a gemstone, put a crystal after it, string on a pearl. Only look at the bead you just put on, right? I just put on this pearl. I put on a gray pearl. So I'm alternating them with crystals. So that way, that's a given. I'm going to string on my crystal. And the little crystal in between just helps them all, hang nicely. So I put on a little crystal. And I'm going to do a gemstone. So then I'm looking at colors. Just a little piece of blue Chalcedony. It looks kind of white here. So that's opaque. So I'm going to do a transparent crystal. And that's not a hard and fast rule by any means. But if it's really, bothering you or giving you, angst, which it shouldn't, beading is therapeutic all the time. Not all the time. A lot of the time. Actually, well, and the hole in that calcite is actually kind of large, so it's also a good reason not to do a knot, because the knot will just fall right inside of it. Okay, and I've done a transparent crystal. Now, also this, where I'm just making the knot over my hand and throwing it through. Once we make the transition to the second strand, I'm going to start doing the knot from the other side, from the other direction. And it's not a have to, but it will make a world of difference for sure. So that's why I want to be able to show that. So
It's probably long enough.
You think? I mean, it's not quite.
For an example.
Yeah. Okay, let me do a couple more, but I think you're right. So also, if in the palette you have, particular pearls or stones you love, you want to make sure you use. And if they're in the larger, like 6mm or something, so you'll want to make sure those are more in the middle, right? Even though these are almost all the same size, we still kind of want to taper using what's larger in the middle and use smaller ones on the end, right? And so as much as possible.
Hi, Anna.
Or if there are some in particular that are, hi, Anna, that
Thanks
are,
for watching.
Yay. This is so crazy. It's so cool. So now all I need is maybe that overhead thing.
So you can see your face still?
I don't know if you can. I don't think you can see your face. The camera would be like right over my
I
hands.
need 2 cameras.
Oh, 2 cameras. Oof. Well, we're such techies. We'll figure it out as we go.
We're learning.
Well, what I can tell you is so I wanted to try to do the live stream like the first weekend of every month. I'm just a big fan of Sundays because people seem to be busy on Saturdays. However, I want to have Sophia there, and Saturdays are better days for her because David's off. And anyway, so the next live stream I want to do is Saturday, the 28th, like 3 weeks from now. So I know that's not I can't find a color.
Don't think about it, Mama.
Well, you have to think about it. It has to be conscientious, but rar. Okay, I'll do this little tiny one.
Yeah, we know you can't see Mama's face.
No, you don't need to. Sophie looks just like me. I look just like that. Slightly older. That we do a lot of like. Okay. Moonstone, stream that on. Now I forgot what I was going to say. What was it talking about? Oh, live stream. So next live stream, Saturday, March 28th, not the first weekend in April, because I'm having shoulder surgery. I'm having surgery on my shoulder on April 2nd. So I'm going to guess that I maybe won't be able to do that live stream the next day or whatever. So I'm going to try to do it the weekend before. That's all. And then we'll go from there. But I'd like to do it at least once a month, and with the option of allowing you to purchase the kit that we're doing ahead of time, if you want to, so that you can make it with us. And I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end. But I think that I'm going to do the necklace I have on. It's Pearly Girl. So it's pretty simple, really. It's more of just a wire work and pearls, but it's gorgeous. I mean, I think it's really, really pretty. And I think it will be a nice project to do like first all together. So, and it's only $22 or $25 something, $23.50, I forget. But with your discount code, you can put in Bead Babe 10 site now. And there are a limited number of them, but you can purchase the kits and then put it in your calendar to join us. And then if you can't make it after all, this we'll post as a video, as a replay.
Melissa says, "Oh no" to the surgery, but Harriet says, "Good luck with the surgery and hope it makes you feel better."
Thank you.
It's long overdue.
It is. It's just outpatient, so I'm in and out. My sister's gonna come help take care of me. From what I understand, I won't be able to move my arm out, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But we'll get that healed and I'll be good as new. Okay. So again, all I'm doing is looking at the last bead I put on that beautiful piece of prehnite. I did a knot. I'm doing another crystal there. I'm going to do a pearl, and then I'm going to taper it down. So even though it's a little short for what you would do, hopefully you're getting kind of the idea here, right? So the knots are, I know it's hard for you to see. I can move it even closer.
Beautiful.
Yeah. This is not so bad. This is just the webcam, which is not that great a quality. Like my camera is better on my phone, is better quality, but it's not so bad. So the knots are again sporadic, and again on your handout, there's close-up pictures just like that that kind of give you an idea. So if you're, really wanting to look at examples of how the shapes and colors and sizes were mixed, there's close-up pictures of them.
Victoria says, "Gorgeous."
Yay.
Melissa says, "Oh, beautiful."
Thank you. Okay, so this should be 6 inches. Ours, this is 4.5.
We're pretending.
This is 4.5. I just want to be able to take you to the transitional part, show you what it will look like to start the next strand, and then Sophie's going to do the finishing on when I do have this that's complete. But generally that would go to about 6 inches, and then I'm going to add, so I did a pearl on the end. I'm going to do 3 more crystals. Actually, sorry, I'm going to back up. I did 3 crystals on the end, on the beginning end, on the transitional end, which is there's 2 of them. I'm actually going to you can put anywhere between 4 and 6 crystals. They need to all be between 2 and 3 millimeter, right? No 4 millimeter. These are going to be the crystals that will tuck up in the cone a little bit, right? So as I string on that's kind of big. I'll string on a few more. So I'm going to string these on first. And you want 1 or 2 knots somewhere along this grouping of crystals. It doesn't matter where. And I am just alternating. Again, if I use the transparent, I'm going to use the opaque. Even if these end up in the cone and no one sees it, it's just, I want it to be fuzzy. There we go. I'm going to do, what was that? Opaque-ish. Okay. I'm going to add 1 more. Yeah, let me do 1 more. Hi. It occurred to me I could see my face for a second. Okay, let me do it right. All right. Okay, so I've strung on a little group of crystals. I'm actually do 1 more. Let me do a transparent. this group, we need another knot. So you could just split it in half even. Maybe I'll do that. So I'm going to pull 3 of those away from there. 2. Okay. Sorry, making a knot. Make sure this stays straight. Large. Okay, not other crystals. Okay, so we've got a little row of crystals there. Let me move them. They're there. And there's a knot in the middle there. Now, I'm going to do another knot actually right after this so that those stay put. And I'm going to go ahead and add the gemstone to pearl. I'm going to add a couple pieces for the next strand here, just so I've got a little bit to hang on to, kind of. Okay. And do another crystal. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about, and I'm going to do it more in a second. So I'm going to stop picking it up to make my knot. It's going to feel kind of awkward, but I'm just changing the motion of my hands and making the knot without picking up that whole strand and making it from this end. That way, I don't have to pick up my strand, which is important as I do the second one. So let me do this knot. Okay, so that's just the beginning of my next strand. But before I continue on, okay, those are a little similar, but that's okay. So you want to take your other eye pen. Place, it can be somewhere between any of the crystals, but I've got to hook that on somewhere and close her up. Okay. So we have to imagine this is let me move the tools. This is the right length, even though it's a little short. Turn it this way, perhaps. And now I've added the eye pen for the other end, and this is my second strand that I'm starting, the one with this little piece of prehnite on it. And I'm just going to now start heading back in that direction. And I want to be able to leave the first strand laying down so that I can see the beads I add, what they're going to be laying next to in the previous strand. Boy, I'm not saying that right. We want to make sure, as I'm stringing the beads on, that I'm not stringing a bead similar in size, shape, and color right next to one just like it on a previous strand, so they're not butting up against each other. The whole reason the bracelet works so well is because they all nestle together. Lovely, right? Each strand kind of nestles into each other because on each strand they're different, shapes and sizes and stuff. So in order to do that, you've got to leave that laying down. So I've got my crystal in there. I'm going to string on another pearl. So I'm only going to do a couple, and then I'm going to pull this and have Sophie just do my other one, finishing. So I put on another pearl. I'm going to put on another crystal. And So we're still watching the bead I just put on, right? So to make sure the next bead I put on, works next to the previous bead. So we're still watching that, but we're also watching the previous strand to make sure the beads we're laying next to that strand are working, right? So they're complementary. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, so I'm going to do this knot. And let me just show this from this direction again. I promise once you just try it, especially if you're used to knotting by picking up the entire thing like I show in pearl knotting. I promise once you just play with this a few times, you'll get it because it's going to feel a little awkward at first, I realize. Let's put one more. And all I'm watching is like this piece of chalcedony, the hole is kind of large, so that's not a good place for a knot. So I'm stringing on another small crystal. Because the knot would just go inside the bead, right? You wouldn't see it. Gosh, so my point is I'm trying to show this slow. So to do it from this end from knot, I'm not picking up the entire thing. So I've got it in my dominant hand. With my non-dominant hand, I'm just here's the needle, taking it, dropping it through. Here's my knot. I do it again. See, what's cool about the replay, unlike a real class, is you can just go back and watch this over and over and over again. I'm trying to get this undone. Hold on. Okay. Strand is in my dominant hand. I'm right-handed. Here's the needle end. I'm crossing, bringing the needle end, and putting it through this loop. And then there's my knot. Right? I promise it's just a change of hands. It's the very same knot. It's just, you're just changing the direction of your hands a little bit. Oh, this actually hurts my shoulder now, doing this so high. Okay. Okay, so there's our knot in there. So we would continue on, right, with our second strand. When you get to that 6-inch point, 6-inch place, and I was going to say before, even if you're wanting this larger, you think you need a larger, you have a larger wrist, you want a larger size, don't make this beaded section larger than 6 inches. We can add length when we do the cone and the clasp, but here, try to leave that 6 inches before you start the transition. About roughly 6 inches. So, right, we keep going, and then we do the same thing when we get to this end as we did the first one. The door's open, I think, honey, actually. Oh, I see a baby here.
Yay.
Just never want to go on. I can hold him. So we get to this end, right, same thing. 5 or, oh, maybe it is. So we do the same 5 or 6 crystals, right, on this end, and do that knot somewhere along it, and then open up the eye to the side, our first eye pin, open it, and hook it on somewhere along that little grouping of crystals, right? And once that's grouped on, or hooked on, then you would start your third strand, right? Just right next to it. Same thing we've been doing. And then when you go to finish it, you finish it just like we started it. 3 small beads. You do your last knot by just running the needle through the eye pin and making a loop around it. And again, that's on your handout, but I promise it's easy. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Sophie's not watching the chat, but right now. But hopefully that makes sense. And again, on the handout there are close-up pictures showing it. Okay. All right. So once you have that third strand though, ta-da! This is what it should look like. Oh, Sophie cut my tail off. Okay, so you would have the tails, right? So at that point, you're going to do clear nail polish all over both knots. The last knot you made and the first knot you made. Never glue product, right? Glue is sticky. We're just sealing the knot. We're not gluing anything to anything. We're sealing the knot. So just a little nail polish, and then you can cut those tails. And the tail doesn't, don't worry about it being super short. It's going to be up in the cone. So just close-ish. It was fine. So I can leave a little bit of it on. I love her, boy. Are you ready, my dear?
Sure.
So here's the 3 strands that I finished. Let me move the cutter. Here's the 3 strands. All finished, ready for the cone. Oh, now I have the grandbaby. No one's even going to pay attention. No one's going to look at us. They're going to look at baby. Hi, Sugar Pie. Hi, Sugar Bee. You're so cute. You're so sweet. I love you so much. I do. What
Melissa
are we
says,
doing?
baby.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Huh? What the heck are we doing?
Your Auntie Melissa's in chat.
What are we doing? You hanging on Mommy's necklace? Until Mommy never wears a necklace.
Yeah, that's why this is Mom's. That's why I didn't realize. Debbie says, oh my gosh, he's grown a lot.
They do that.
I know, he's so freaking big now. Harriet says, so cute. Victoria says, hi, baby. Hi, baby. Melissa says that she loves this little man so much. Yeah.
Okay, I am getting all Sophie's
And he
pieces
says,
ready.
he's grown up. He's so grown up now. Yeah, look at him pretending to stand. Look at you pretending to stand. Marcia says, OMG, he is so cute.
He is so cute.
Thanks, guys.
Pete.
Yeah. What is that?
Okay, Princess, I'm going to trade 2 4mm crystals that are going to go on the top of the cone, right? So that match. Ideally, would have chosen those before, or it could be 3mm, right? But it's the bead that's on the top of the cone, right? So you want those. That way, you put them aside, and so we can put them on the cone now. Okay.
Is that you?
Who's the baby?
Is that you?
Who's the baby? You can't see baby.
But I got
You gotta
this
let go of
necklace though.
You gotta let go of that. I have a toy for you. I bought you a present. I bought you a present.
Just mind the makeup. He has to take a bath today anyway. So.
Okay.
Okay, hi ladies, my turn.
Sophie doesn't like when I get makeup on him.
No, it gets all sparkly.
You have to be sparkly.
Pat says, what gorgeous eyes he has. I know he has mine. Weird.
Hi, Sugar
And Daddy's.
Hi, Sugar Bee.
Me and Daddy have the same
Hi,
eyes.
Sugar Bee.
Okay, so to do the cone finish,
Amy has a necklace on too.
I'm gonna, doesn't really matter what's end, and take the tiny cone and string it onto the eye pin. And make sure it gets kind of nestled down there nicely. And did you want a bead on top?
Yeah, there it's in the tray. There's 2.
These ones?
There you go.
Okay. Then we'll put a little 3mm crystal
And I
on
mentioned
top of the cone.
in the handout that when you're doing the bend for this wire wrap here, the neck on here, you might want to try to make it smaller than you typically do, because you're not just covering that, you're securing the cone to the strands, right? So if you've ever done that before, sometimes you end up wrapping more as it tightens, and then that adds length. So we don't want to do that. You can test the length of this and make sure that length is about right. The cone finish adds about 2 inches with the cones and just a typical clasp on there. So if you need more length on it, this is not the place to add it. We would just want to make sure. So you might want to make it just a smaller neck, because you're naturally going to end up wrapping it a bit more as it tightens to the strands.
Melissa says he loves the shiny.
Of course.
Okay, so I push the bead down so it's nice and tight against the top of the cone. And I've got the wire in the very tip of my chain nose pliers. Then I'm going to bend the wire away from me into a 90-degree angle.
He doesn't care about this toy.
No, of course not. He cares about what you're wearing. So I've got a little 90-degree angle right on top of the cone. Then I'm going to turn the wire so it's pointing right at me. And I'm going to grab the round nose pliers, perfectly round all the way around. And I'm going to grab...
The clasp, the toggle clasp, it's a little... it's a new one, a brand new toggle clasp. It's very pretty.
Okay.
See how it's kind of thicker?
So just make the loop about big enough
Yeah.
for that. Okay. So I'm going to grab about halfway down the round nose pliers, and I'll turn it up so you can see it. I'm grabbing about halfway up the round nose pliers and just like maybe a centimeter or so away from the bend. So my nail is right in my bend. And I'm grabbing about in the
I'm not even watching the chat.
middle
Sorry.
of the
You're doing
round
a terrible
nose
job.
pliers. It's okay. So with my thumb, with my nail in my bend, I'm going to start rotating my hand forward. And then I'm going to stop rotating when my loop is about halfway made. I'm going to keep my pliers in there, but I'm looking at it so it's halfway made. I can tell at this point if it's nice and centered, right? And at this point it is. So then I'm going to grab the tail of wire and pull it the rest of the way around. So it's come all the way around to complete my little loop. Right, beautiful. Then at this point, you can kind of straighten it out a little if you need it to be more centered. Then I've got my nice little loop. And at this point, you will string on the clasp that you want, right? Because we haven't wrapped it closed yet. At this point, you always got to stop and ask if it needs to be connected to something, which it does. So I opened the loop a little bit with the chain nose pliers and then got the end of the toggle attached, right? Then I'm gonna cover up my loop that I just made. Oh, how can you see this? There, like that. So I'm covering up my loop, as much of it as I can grab with my chain nose pliers. And I'm holding my chain nose pliers straight up and down. And then I'm gonna grab the end of the wire with my round nose pliers and start pulling away from the bracelet to wrap it nice and tight. Just one wrap. Looks like I can fit maybe 2 wraps in here. As much as you need to kind of fill that gap between the loop and your bead. So I think you can get a little bit more in there. Beautiful. So it's wrapped nice and tight. So I've got my little wrap there, all nice and done. And I use the cutters to clip as close as you can, being mindful that you don't cut any important wire. And then you can use the tip of your chain nose pliers or your crimping pliers to squish the tail of the wire in. Right, so no tail is sticking out. And that's it. You want me to do the other side? Is that good?
No, that's good.
Yay! Then I'll do the same thing on the other side, right?
I might as well do the other side. So if you needed more length on this, right, if you tried it before you put the cones on, again, knowing the cones and clasp at about 2 inches, but it seems like that's not going to be enough length, then you could choose a different clasp. You could just go ahead and close the loops instead of attaching it to the clasp, like Sophie's doing, and use jump rings then. I think that's what I have on the other bracelet. And that way the jump rings add a little bit of length to it. Where's that on the bracelet? Is it on you?
This the sample?
Yeah, that one. Right, so that one has, I did the little jump rings and the, like a lobster claw on it and closed the loops instead and attached those later. So that has a longer, clasp on it. So there's definitely ways, even after you've made the body, to add length to it, or even make it shorter, which I'm going to show you how to wrap in just a sec. So it's really common to be, stringing these along and knotting and have it end up too long. especially, you know, if you tried it on and it fit okay, and then you add the cone and clasp and everything, and then it ends up too long, you can actually wrap it or weave it a little bit to take up length that I'll show you in just a second when Sophie is done with that.
There. Beautiful.
Hooray! Yeah.
See? Nice little wire loops.
Gorgeous.
Not super clear, but
Yep.
beautiful.
Very good. Here, I'm gonna trade 2 secs. I'm just gonna show you guys a couple things. Do you read
Hi, guy. Melissa says, very cool. Thanks, Melissa.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch chat at all. Sorry, terrible chat monitor or whatever it's called. Okay, so a couple last things before I let you go. We're just right at an hour. Oh, we did so good. So if this ends up too long, let me use the other one. So if it was too long, it ended up too big for some reason, you can take up the length. Oh, I dropped that down there. Sorry.
That's okay.
By doing a wrap. So I'm going to drop this down a little bit. And every time I show this, again, there's no exact science to it. I'm splitting the strands, wrapping the clasp under and up, splitting the strand the other way, under and up, splitting the strand again, under and up, splitting the strand on this side, under and up. And what it starts to do, it starts to add a little weave or wrap, right? You never want to twist it. It's never going to stay twisted, and that doesn't look good anyway. But by splitting the strands, and I'm putting the clasp through, right? It's going through and pulling it up. It creates this neat little weave or wrap to it. That's very pretty, but it also takes up length. So, and that gives you a better fit. That's all. And the last couple of things I'm just going to show you is I'm going to put it in the email too, but we have a couple new findings and components that came in. This little clasp is really beautiful. It's a little toggle that's all hammered. Oh, I'm going to actually steal that off her neck. Baby will be like...
Before he does.
And
That's for me? No. Where did it go?
I just added this beautiful little tree of life. Pinned it. I put a pearl in front of it, but it's really beautiful. It's a lovely lightweight pin. It would make great earrings. It's finished both sides, brushed on both sides. But I just think it's really well done. A lot of times these be very defined, and these are really cut really pretty. And I think it's only $4.25 or something like that. So it's not even very expensive. I got that same clasp on the back. And then the earring component, I have this is another new piece. It looks really similar to the satin rings we've had, but this is actually one piece. So not the pearl, but these 3 rings all come together. And instead of a satin finish, it's got like a hammered, kind of textured finish on both sides. So it's very cute. And again, I'll put close-up pictures of them in the email. But those are online now, as well as this necklace, our Pearly Girl necklace, that we are doing for the next live stream. If you want to join us on Saturday, March 28th, to make this piece. It's our Pearly Girl necklace. I think it's just beautiful. And I might even have a couple different color choices if you like. But I just think that's gorgeous. This is 20 inches down, so I can say bye properly. Thank you so much for joining us. This was super fun and pretty on time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah, thanks. I'll have this uploaded here soon. So if you need a replay of any of the techniques, and I think that's it. And
Melissa says, thank you for the tutorial.
Of course, I'm so excited to keep doing this. And if you're not a member, because this ended up going live to everyone, and so I'm not quite sure how that's all going to play out. But if you're not a member, the tutorials, I make these kind of tutorials for each project. And they're going to live in a members area that I'm putting together right now that will have the techniques like and separate classes like the pearl knotting class or wire working, and then the separate project tutorials. And so that's only for members. There's another discount code, and members get the lovely step-by-step sheets every weekend in their inbox for the new projects. It's $15 a month. When you sign up, you get a month free. So you sign up, it's $30 for the first 90 days, and then you start getting charged $15 in the first month. So again, we're still, figuring out all the moving parts. I appreciate your patience while we do, but we're having a lot of fun. Oh my God, he's so cute. Speak to the camera. Say hi. You say bye-bye.
Victoria says thank you.
Thank
Marsha says
you.
thank you. Debbie says great job.
Yay.
Marsha says see you again. Harriet says thank you. This is a great way for me to get lessons during my crazy.